Hello and welcome to this episode where we saw episode 13 of Ring of Honor. Now this was a bumper episode of Ring of Honor. This was 19 matches. So far I'm about halfway through. So we're going to do this video in two parts. The next video will be uploaded on Monday at 8 PM. So to start this off, we had Mark Briscoe versus J.D. Drake. I've known J.D. Drake from the independent scene, so I'm quite familiar with his work, and it was great to see him get this opportunity with Mark Briscoe. I'm not entirely sure whether J.D. Drake has been signed by AEW or Ring of Honor, but he's definitely been getting more opportunities as of late, and he and Mark really thrived in this match. They meshed well with each other, and there was a lot of believability in this match. When J.D. Drake managed to pin Mark quite a few times, and I was sure he had the match won. So this has happened a few times throughout the match. Ultimately, Mark Briscoe picked up the win, and he continues his winning streak. So I noticed that on the bottom part of their entrance, as it says their name, so it's like Mark Briscoe, Ring of Honor career. I believe he's now 6-0 up. After this match, Mark hinted at he is coming after the TV title that Samoa Joe currently holds. So it will be very interesting to see how that one plays out. I'm looking forward to that. After this was Claudio versus Serpentico in a Proving Ground match. In case you don't know, Claudio is the Ring of Honor World Champion. He currently holds it. It's a non-title match, but this is a Proving Ground match, so if he won the match, he would earn a shot at the championship. Now, I think something that's important to note and that could get easily missed is that Serpentico could have tried to make their match go for the full 10 minutes, because there's a 10-minute time limit on this match, and he would have got a shot at the championship. That was noted by one of the commentators. Claudio is great at tormenting and mocking his opponents, something that I have noticed very early on in this match. It was a statement match. Serpentico had quite a few good chances, a few shots, but heading into Double or Nothing for AEW, I think that this is a great way to solidify what Claudio is capable of, and especially with them heading into the Anarchy in the Arena match with the BCC and the Elite Anarchy in the Arena. Before we go any further, I will just admit that this is my first time watching Ring of Honor the whole way through, so to speak, and I'm not familiar with every single talent, but there is some learning that I am more than happy to do and some research that I have to do still. Up next was Kiera Hogan versus Vixen. Athena came out pretty early on in this match and was scouting for her next opponent. This was, I can't say this enough, a really strong showing for Vixen. I've seen her in multiple independent promotions, and she seems to be making more and more appearances. So yeah, I'm really hoping the best for Vixen. As Kira pinned the Vixen, she stared straight in the face of Athena, and then Athena, after the match, got up on the apron, and Kira and Athena had a little bit of a back and forth before it was either Athena or Kira. One of them hit the other one. I think it was Athena hit Kira first. So I'm looking forward to seeing where this one goes. AR Fox versus Kyle Fletcher. So far, bear in mind that I've only seen 9 out of the 19 matches, is my match of the episode. Both Fletcher and AR Fox seem to really thrive in this match. I'm really happy that Aussie Open have been signed to AEW. Both Kyle Fletcher and Mark Davis are incredible. They really, really deserve this. However, throughout the match, Kyle could have been seen as the bad guy because he was doing that typical thing that the bad guys do, so on the ropes and doing things like that. But the crowd was just too split between the both of them on who they wanted to win. There was some lovely Aussie, oi, oi, oi chants, which I'm very familiar with because I watch PWA, and I've learnt a couple of things from Robbie Eagles as well, who's another one of my favourites, but that's a conversation for another day. This is, I've already kind of mentioned this, but this is one of my favourite matches that I've seen in a while. I've not been watching too much wrestling at the moment, but this was one of my favourites. AR Fox can do just about anything. He is so versatile in the ring and out of it, in terms of diving out onto his opponents and things like that. Crowd came alive for this match. I mean, the crowd was alive for every match that I've seen so far. And it had quite an amount of unpredictability, and the kickouts. There was so many kickouts, but each one had me believing that that was the end of the match. And that's what you need in those kind of scenarios. In the end, Kyle picked up the win. Moving on to Willow Nightingale versus Hyan. Willow is such a fan favourite, and it's impossible to not love what she does in the ring. Willow has fun in the ring, walking down to the ring. She interacts with the crowd. She is just the epitome of having fun as a wrestler. She's just incredible. Willow has this signature taunt. I don't know if it's a taunt, I don't think that's the correct word for it, but she will take down some straps off of a part of her gear and just sort of show that she's done playing around, and this is her way of ending the match. And I just really like that. I do hope eventually that we get the Athena versus Willow for the Ring of Honor Women's Championship. And I will admit, Hyan is somebody I definitely need to do a little bit more research on. Somebody I need to find out more about, and that is definitely something I'm going to work on over the next few weeks. Up next was Matt Taven and Mike Bennett, known as The Kingdom, versus Willie Mack and Ninja Mack, known as Mack Attack. The Kingdom, I believe, are Ring of Honor originals, or they were in the early days of Ring of Honor. Need to do some learning in terms of The Kingdom, but they're both incredible in this match, and they're both incredible from what I've heard about them. Ninja Mack and Willie Mack I've learned a lot about from GCW, and with Ninja Mack coming on a tour to the UK at some point soon, I believe that's in June, I do hope to see him there. The Kingdom are great at their little trash talking, and maybe they are a little bit overconfident in times, in terms of their trash talking, but I think that happens with most wrestlers. This tag team match was very enjoyable. Both Ninja Mac and Willie Mac are, again, incredibly versatile, incredibly athletic. It's insane what they can do in the ring. And the Kingdom picked up the win here. Mercedes Martinez versus Dream Girl Ellie. I'm not too familiar with either talent, but as I've already mentioned, that is something that I'm going to research into both wrestlers, learn more about, and for any of the wrestlers that I've mentioned that I'm not too familiar on, if anybody does know and wants to help me out, feel free to list some suggestions in the comments down below and I will get back to them. Dream Girl Ellie took a shot at Mercedes Martinez by slapping her across the face, and after that Mercedes wasn't playing around at all. This was a statement match. Mercedes just took apart Dream Girl Ellie and it was a deadly submission that helped Mercedes pick up the win. I'm not entirely sure of the name of that submission, but it is incredibly looking submission. After that we had Ashley D'Ambos versus Danielle Camella. I love the fact that the women's division is getting quite the spotlight. Danielle was absolutely brutal in her debut match. She didn't have much respect at all. In terms of Ring of Honor having a lot of respect, Danielle didn't come in with a lot of respect. However, Ashley soon started to beat that respect into her. Danielle is an incredibly fast-paced wrestler in the ring, and I'm a big fan of her trash talk. Any wrestler that has good trash talk, I will become a fan of. Danielle showcased her ability here, and I would absolutely love to see her back in Ring of Honor. She killed that match. I really, really enjoyed it, and that is another highlight of the matches that I've watched so far. But Ashley picked up the win. And lastly for this episode, we had Rocky Romero versus Titus Alexander. I've seen Titus at a couple of independent promotions. I think 2 off the top of my head, in case somebody wants to do some research and find out more. I think West Coast Pro and GCW, he's appeared on both of those. Titus took some time to make sure to mock Rocky and taunt the crowd quite a lot. As you will have noticed, I have a tendency to like things that the bad guys do. So trash talking and taunting the crowd and things like that. I'm a big fan of that. I like that Rocky specifically targeted one area of Titus's body throughout the entire match and just stuck to it. So in this match he specifically focused on his arm and he took that apart limb by limb sort of a thing, just really, really focusing on his arm, and he just kept attacking the same area, and I believe, can't remember the finish off the top of my head, but I do believe he used that damaged arm to help him pick up the win. I think the win was via a submission. So that was a really great match, and they seemed to mesh together really, really well in terms of match, and in terms of they seem to have great chemistry in the ring with each other. It's really great. Okay, so we've reached the end of this episode. Episode 2 will be tomorrow at 8 PM UK time. So yeah, I hope that you've enjoyed this. Please give it a like, comment and subscribe if you are not already. Thank you so much for listening.